Gorr and his daughter were walking through a bleak desert on a planet. Gorr continued to pray to his master, God Rapu. Gorr's daughter Love, sadly, had reached her limit and died. Gorr collapsed, clutching his cherished daughter. He was waked up when he heard a whisper and dashed to the direction of the sound. Gorr discovered an oasis and promptly filled his thirst and hunger there. He was shocked to find Rapu, the god he worshipped, in that location. Unfortunately, Rapu mocked Gorr and thought his people's beliefs were a joke. Gorr was dissatisfied, and he became the owner of a blade called Necrosword. Gorr's disappointment turned to rage, and he slashed Rapu to death, vowing to murder all gods. In other news, Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy have regained their strength and have just saved a planet. They got numerous messages requesting assistance, and Thor found that one of the transmissions was from Lady Sif. As a result, Thor chose to split ways with Quill and his comrades in order to instantly assist his fellow Asgardian. Thor and Korg arrived to find an injured Lady Sif. Lady Sif quickly informed Thor of the Godslayer's impending arrival on Earth. Meanwhile, Thor's ex-girlfriend, Dr. Jane Foster, is suffering stage 4 cancer. Jane, who is frail, discovers a reference to Mjolnir, which grants its bearer power and health. As a result, he went to New Asgard, which is now a tourist attraction, and met Mjolnir, who had been destroyed. Suddenly the sky darkened, and lightning flashed. Gorr launched his attack on New Asgard one night. He has the ability to manipulate shadows and create monsters from shadows using a Necrosword. Valkyrie, Asgard's new leader, does not remain mute. Thor came on time as well and engaged Gorr's army. Then, wielding Mjolnir as a weapon, and another individual came to their help, surprising Thor. Thor was even more astonished when the wielder of Mjolnir was revealed to be Jane Foster. Thor, it appears out, once begged Mjolnir to guard Jane by accident. That is what prompts Mjolnir respond and make Jane its owner, giving Jane Foster Thor-like powers.
Excuse me.
That night, Thor, Valkyrie, Jane, and the Asgardians defeated Gorr. Gorr, on the other hand, used his shadow talents to abduct the Asgardians' offspring. Thor learns from Heimdall's son Axel's powers that Gorr is detaining the Asgardian children in the Shadow Realm after fighting the citizens of New Asgard. Thor then proceeded to the City of the Gods with Valkyrie, Jane, and Korg and pleaded for help in the shape of troops to stop Gorr. Unfortunately, Zeus, as the gods' king, dismissed Thor's warning. In fact, he made a mockery of Thor and mocked him. Thor grew enraged when he realized Zeus' motivation was simply fear of the Necrosword in Gorr's hands. Thor defeated the gods' army with the help of Valkyrie, Jane, and Korg. Zeus uses his lightning weapon to destroy Korg but does not kill him. Then Zeus struck Thor again with his lightning, but Thor caught it and redirected it so that it penetrated Zeus' own body. Korg whistled for the ship when the Valkyrie ate Zeus' lightning, and Thor's flock left the City of the Gods. Thor and his squad arrive at the Shadow Realm, but no Asgardian children there. Jane then discovered a clue in an ancient artwork and believed that Gorr had set them up. Gorr purposefully drew Thor into the Shadow World in order to capture Stormbreaker and get access to Eternity. Eternity is a concept that exists at the center of the universe. Anyone who can do it will be given the opportunity to realize his or her dreams. It was obvious that Gorr would express his intention to destroy the gods. Jane then throws away the Stormbreaker to prevent Gorr from using it, but Gorr assaults them from the Shadow World, rendering them all powerless. Thor used Stormbreaker when Gorr knew Jane was dying and was going to kill her. He summoned shadow monsters and engaged Thor and the others in battle. Gorr managed to wound Valkyrie, and Jane's condition was deteriorating, so Thor used Stormbreaker to open the Bifrost and save them all. Unfortunately, Gorr takes Stormbreaker at the last second. Valkyrie and Jane are receiving medical attention in New Asgard. Valkyrie's wounds did not serious, but the cancer in Jane's body made her condition much more grave. As a result, Thor chose to return to face Gorr alone, bringing Zeus' Thunderbolt with him. Thor arrived at the Altar of Eternity and discovered Gorr opening the portal with Stormbreaker. He prioritizes the protection of the Asgardian children, though, and frees them first. Gorr summoned shadow monsters to keep them at bay, but Thor utilized Zeus' lightning bolt to give the Asgardian youngsters the strength they needed to defeat it. Thor also began his battle with Gorr. Gorr, on the other hand, was far too powerful and nearly killed Thor. Jane knew Thor was in peril and used Mjolnir to save and assist Thor. Jane had to summon all of her might to overcome Gorr. Jane, on the other hand, had to accept the fact that she, too, was dying. Thor, on the other hand, was too late to stop Stormbreaker, so the door to eternity has now been opened. Thor stated in front of eternity that Gorr was simply yearning for love. Thor also stated that Gorr had a chance to resurrect his daughter. Meanwhile, Thor chose to accompany for Jane in her final moments. Gorr kept a close eye on Thor and Jane. Meanwhile, he was dying as a result of his use of the Necrosword. As he approached death, Gorr wondered who would look after his daughter if he death. Jane, on the other hand, told Gorr that love would not be alone and made a gesture to Thor before he passing away. Gorr ultimately opted to resurrect love and requested Thor to pledge to look after his only daughter. Thor agreed to do it, and Gorr died quietly. The gods and the Asgardian children both survived. Thor reunited the children with their parents and families by bringing them all back to New Asgard. A while has gone. Valkyrie and Lady Sif now teach martial skills to Asgardian children. Thor successfully adopted and reared Love. They both keep busy as the criminal fighters Love and Thunder.